Hi, everybody. Welcome in to a new live edition of Inside the Texans. We do it every Monday here on KPRC 2 Plus, live at 11 a.m. to 11:30. So right before you go eat lunch, you can get your take of Texans coverage. Randy McAvoy alongside longtime Texans tight end Owen Daniels. Good to see you. Good to have you in, man.
Thanks for having me in.
I saw you recently at Kincaid High School, and where you're helping that program. By the way, won a state championship over at Kincaid. Well done. 10 years in the league, of course, 8 years with Houston Texans. If you follow Texans, you know exactly who he is and what he accomplished. A great career there in the NFL. Adam Wexler, Sports Talk 790, hanging out as well. You've been here a few times, right?
Yeah, 100 career combined games in the NFL between the two of us. Crushing.
There you go, man. No, very steady. Awesome, man. Good to have you, man, and both you guys in. Man, we got a lot to talk about. This is a half hour. There's a lot of disgruntled Texans fans out there trying to say, what happened yesterday? How did we lose to a 2-8 Texans football team? Owen, I'm going to start with you. You played in the league, and we were talking pre-show. Almost forget about the records. This is the NFL. Every team's got really good players.
They do. And it's a divisional game too, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the Titans will be geared up for that game. And I think the players are probably feeling just like the fans are. They're disgruntled. They're not happy with how things went yesterday. I think they thought they definitely let one slip through their fingers for sure.
I feel like something Danielle Hunter said after the game seems so simple, and it shouldn't necessarily be the case if there's a discrepancy in talent. But what he said was the team in the NFL that usually makes fewer mistakes wins the game. Yeah. I thought we made more mistakes, and I don't think he was wrong, and that's the toughest part for a team that fancies themselves as an upper echelon team. They obviously still lead this terrible division. Now they've lost a game to a team in this terrible division, but they made too many mistakes. They had so many penalties in the second half, 7 of them special teams penalty, impacting field position throughout, going backwards on back-to-back false starts, and then a sack. No sacks in the first 40 minutes of the game. Then they gave up 4 sacks in the final 20 minutes of the game. These are the things that they can't keep doing over the court. They haven't put together a full 60 minutes very often this year, and that's why they end up in games like this, and now they're coming out on the wrong end of it the back half of the year. Front half of the year, they were on the right end of it.
We got some of the stats coming out of that loss yesterday. You know the score, 32-27. You see some of the numbers right there. And we're going to get to Stroud here in just a few minutes, guys. We'll also hear from CJ, but you had Nico out there as well. But here's the deal: you got a Titans offense coming into this football game that had really, for the most part, struggled most of the year. It was their defense that everybody was talking about going into this ball game yesterday, and the defense, for the most part, for Tennessee, delivered. What's the mindset now out of this? When you look, Owen, at a season, you got 5 games left. What's the thought process right now when you're 7-5 and you let one get away like this?
I think you just gotta not panic, right? Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of talk about this game and how we should have got the job done, but you gotta refocus. You gotta reset, refocus, figure out why things went wrong when they went wrong. Obviously, I think you look at that game. There's penalties in crucial situations. We need better protection in certain situations, giving up big plays in general, right? If you can't beat a 2-win team with that type of effort, that type of focus, it's going to be hard to beat a playoff team like that.
3 explosive plays against this defense. The offense came out, got great field position because of the Dameon Pierce kickoff return, scored on the first play. Defense goes out there knowing how well they got after the quarterback last year against the Titans, sacked Levis and Tannehill 13 times in 2 games, and they went out there and did that part again, but the Titans scored on their first 3 drives of the game. The defensive players afterwards said, we didn't come out with the right kind of energy, even after they were given a 7-point lead before they even got on the field, and they're right. And you let Tennessee gain confidence in their offense. Levis had played better the last couple of weeks, and it's hard to put together 8 sacks versus not stopping their offense at all. They got 8 sacks and created 2 takeaways, had another on special teams, and yet they still didn't stop them. They couldn't stop Tony Pollard, and they couldn't keep those explosives. Each of those 3 were different issues. A lot of it was on the back end with the safety play and having Jalen Petrie go out, which pushes Jimmy Ward into a different spot, which keeps Ward and Murray on the field pretty much at all times the rest of the game. These were factors, but not the reasons they should have seen Tennessee continue to gain confidence on offense.
You could see that confidence, too, on the Tennessee sideline, especially in that first half towards the end when they got the Nick Folk field goal with, I forgot how many seconds were left.
Right after the Stroud unnecessary interception.
Exactly. That led to the points there. You can almost see it in their eyes on the sideline. Like, we're in this game, and the energy they brought on both sides, they feel like they can win this game.
Yeah, when you're a team that's playing on the road and you're a team that's the dog in that game, man, if you're in it right there, divisional game, that's all you need. That type of momentum going forward, to the second half. I mean, that was a big point in the game. We had a chance to either just get out of that half with no damage done. Instead, we give them 3 points, and really ends up being pretty much a difference in the game at that point.
And you got on the defensive side for the Texans, I was going to ask you too, how deflating it is. Against the Lions, they had five interceptions, lost that football game. Against the Titans yesterday, you sacked Levis 8 times. You was like, all these numbers add up like it's got to be a win.
Yeah.
But you're walking out of there with an L.
Yeah, it's tough. I think they're actually pretty good on third down on defense too. I think they're like 4 of 14 held Titans, but on offense we were 3 of 13. So it's hard. Staying on the field. Time of possession was lopsided. I think they had 10 minutes on our time of possession, and that's big in games like this for sure.
It's only the second time the Texans haven't won the time of possession battle. They were third in the NFL going into this game. That's a constant for them, but it was noticeable the first, second, by the end of the third quarter, they had almost twice as much possession time. So there's no rhythm on offense.
Right.
You're obviously not getting them off the field. The turnovers you mentioned, they won the turnover battle again yesterday. They've won the turnover battle twice by 3 turnovers this year and lost. The last time they'd lost a game when they were +3 was 15 years ago before this year. I don't know if you remember that game. I can't pinpoint which one it was.
He's thinking about it.
But it was
right now.
15 years between losses when you were +3, and they've done it twice this year.
Wow. Well, after the ball game, of course, a lot of reaction coming in from the Texans. Let's start with the head coach at the podium. Listen into a little bit from head coach DeMeco Ryans.
It's a disappointing loss for us. We didn't do anything well enough to win this game. Out of all the positives that we did have, there were way too many negatives, right? Too many negative plays, right? We score, we get a penalty, we get touchdowns called back, get penalties on special teams. It's just way too many negative plays defensively, like unexplainable, right? Explosives for touchdowns. It's just, we didn't play good across the board, and that starts with me. Obviously, we weren't ready to go as a team, so that starts with me. The most frustrating part about it is, out of all the bad things that happened, we still had a chance to win and finish the game, right? Everything that could go wrong, it went wrong, but we still had a chance there, to tie it up, and finish the game, but we didn't. The first thing is we have to create positive plays, right? Too many times, whether it's run or pass, we have a negative play, which it just kills our drive. So first thing first, how can we sustain positive plays and build drives? Too many drives, we're stalled out before we can even get started. The concern for me is we need to play complementary football, right? We play complementary football, we win games. When we don't, we're not relying on one side, right, to carry the entire team. So whatever happens, our offense gave us enough points to win the game. So that starts with the defense. We didn't do enough to stop them. We didn't stop the run, and we didn't run the ball well. And we gave up way too many points on defense. So our offense did plenty. They gave us enough points. In defense, we had to be able to stop them. A lot of positive things happened. For us to get the turnover, we talked about throughout the week for special teams, create a turnover. We did that. Defensively, to get a pick 6, get 8 sacks in the game. It was a lot of really good things that happened, for our team. But the negatives just right now just outweigh the positives. So, our guys continue to do good things, but we have to string it together to where we can finish and celebrate those positives right after the game. Yeah, how I assess it is at the end of the day, it's not good enough, right? At the end of the day, we're trying to finish the game with a win, no matter how that looks, and we came up short.
All right, head coach DeMeco Ryans owning all of it. He says we're going to turn the page. We're going to get to work and try to figure this thing out. And they have to. They got Jacksonville coming up, and you got 5 games left. You got to get that mojo back. Let's talk real quick because you and D'Amico go way back, and we were just talking during that interview there. Same draft class, you played with the guy, and I asked you, I said, did you sense he would be a good coach one day if he ever wanted to go that route? And you were like, no question.
Absolutely.
What stood out? What was it about D'Amico during your playing days that you thought that would be his future if he wanted to go there?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, rookie year, he's our starting middle linebacker, and calling the defense, and that demands a lot of respect and attention, and that wasn't too big for his shoulders as a rookie. So you could just see, and that grew over the years. His nickname was Cap, just from the jump, and everyone respected him. He didn't necessarily say a lot, kind of like Andre, but you wanted to make sure you were prepared and ready to go if you were playing with D'Amico.
Having been there with him and now seeing this year, they've gone through a lot more adversity this year than they did last year. I think their expectations were much higher, and some of the losses have been tougher to take. Knowing him the way you do, how do you think he takes where they are right now at 7-5, still atop the division, but not playing the way they want to? How does he help them overcome that adversity?
Yeah, I think he understands, obviously, the league and the way it goes. And, you got to be prepared, and you got to take advantage of your situations in every single game that you're in, right? Because every single team is good in this league. So, I think the guys in that locker room got a lot of respect for D'Amico, and he's got great experience from being in San Francisco, coaching there, and from their experience last year here in Houston. So, he's going to right the ship, and they got a great opportunity this upcoming week to kind of get everything in place, get feeling good about themselves, get the momentum going in the right direction.
Can one game do that? Can one just get back on track? Kind of get
so.
the feeling back of, hey, okay, we're back on track.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
It's hard to think that because it did, but then the next game can do the reverse. They were back on track after they trounced the Cowboys.
You got to be consistent.
And look
with
where
it.
we are this Monday after the game against the Titans.
Good point. They got a bye week after Jacksonville, right? So you really want that W coming up Sunday, going to that bye week.
For sure.
All right, let's segue now to C.J. Stroud. We got two sequences here. This is the first video, some of the positive plays that we did see from CJ, because it wasn't all bad from 7 yesterday. We'll get to the struggles here in a minute that he had to throw the football, and got sacked a few times. But we saw some good plays, had some receiver help. There's one from Tank Dell, found Nico Collins, a couple early touchdowns from CJ.
Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit this year just in general, and it might be, partly protection. I think the run game always helps quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks in this league, and I don't think they were as committed to it yesterday as they have been in the past, partly against, going against a great defense, and even the passes I think that he connected on just were a little bit off, where we could have got 7 instead of settling for 3 points, but, he is a talent, and he's gonna get himself right.
I think he basically admitted a lot of the things that Owen just articulated there, that he hasn't been as sharp. It is on him. He talked about the 2 interceptions specifically, but we were talking about those 2 completions. We saw them both there to Tank Dell deep for that long gainer of nearly 40 yards, and the non-touchdown that could have been to Nico Collins. Last year, those were touchdowns. Even earlier this year, on the touchdown that got called back a week ago, he puts the ball so quickly in Nico's hands. The touchdown at the end of the season against the Colts for Nico, that ball needs to lead him out there, and he runs under it. The touchdown where he got hurt this year,
right.
Same play. That's basically the same play. He was coming from a different place in the where they were lined up, but it just runs right past this guy. He's open by 3 or 4 yards. You put the ball out in front of him, he scores. If you lead Tank the way he normally has, he doesn't have to pull back, stop, and try to spin around the defender. He's able to take the corner and stay in bounds and gain more yards. They've had trouble in the red zone off those possession changes. They were deep in Titans territory. First one, they scored a touchdown on very first play. The other ones, they went 7 yards and kicked a field goal. And even at the end of the game, second straight week, you had a touchdown called back by penalty. Yeah. And you ultimately had to settle for a 28-yard field goal attempt.
Got to find the end zone.
You got to. Hey, you get down there, you got to capitalize.
Touch it in, man. Let's roll some more video of Stroud. And again, we saw the good. He had some struggles. And you see his numbers right there. The accuracy's not what it was a year ago. He's getting a lot of pressure right now. Is he adapting well enough to that pressure? Is he forcing throws? What's causing the accuracy?
Well, you know what? I think there's probably a little bit of everything. He's seen probably different looks this year than he saw last year. But I think that interception at the end of the first half, it just, to me, that looks like a miscommunication. And I know CJ is going to take the fall for that one, but I think they weren't on the same page there. And, he's doing the right thing as being a leader as a quarterback and taking the blame. But I think everyone is a part of that. For sure.
5 interceptions in all of last season. He's got 9 already with still 5 to play with.
His third 2-interception game of the year. The throw to Mechie, I think, is correctly assessed. Mechie basically sits down. He leads him by a couple yards, 2-3 yards, and Mechie's like reaching for it. He's already settled into his spot. Obviously, CJ appeared to be expecting a little bit different, and he did call it a miscommunication after the game, thought he had a window there. The interception we saw to Nico, he just didn't put quite enough air underneath it. He has been really good at the placement of his passes over his year and a half in the league. He just left that one a touch short. Nice play by Murray to go up and get it, but that's what NFL players are capable of doing, and he just didn't quite put it in the right spot. He's missing open receivers this year, additionally, both spotting where the ball should go, and one of those throws you just saw to Mixon out to the sideline, he just missed him, and those were a lot fewer seen last year than they have been this year.
Yeah, still having a good year, down year compared to last year. Before we get to the sound, what stands out the most about what you've seen out of him rookie season to now, just early in his career, the success he's having?
I mean, if you look at it as a whole, he's been fantastic. Going out and getting him with the pick out last year and how he was able to the success he had last year. They talk about maybe a sophomore slump. That's a natural thing to happen.
Yeah.
I think he's going to adjust as things go along. He's going to look at himself in the mirror like, hey, I got to lock in. I got to be more accurate here. He's going to do what it takes because that's the type of player he is.
And I like the way he handles himself too at the podium, post game, during the week, whatever. I think he blames himself too much personally, but he does. That's a sign of a leader right there, saying, "Hey, I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to get this thing fixed."
For sure. And as a quarterback, I think that's the role you got to take, right? And all the guys, playing with them, they understand that. They understand that they got a role to play, a job to do too. And hopefully, by him stepping up and taking that type of leadership and taking the blame, other guys will step their game up as well.
All right, C.J. Stroud, much like D'Amico Ryans, he always follows Ryans in the post-game podium. Listen in now, a couple of minutes from the quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
You can point a lot of places, but I always point at myself. I'm the leader of the offense. I got to get us rolling, get our rhythm, and we got to find a better way to end the first half better, start the second half better, and that's ultimately starts with me and taking care of the football and, getting into a rhythm, running the ball well, getting us into the right reads, the right look. So, I would just say that's why. I mean, that's how we're going to get better. It's just I got to be better. Got to practice really hard. Got to be really on each other. Everybody has to look themselves in the mirror and try to get things fixed. So that'll be the plan for this week, practicing, getting better. Personally, I got to get better. As a team, we have to get better. Trying to go to Jacksonville and get a dub before bye week. It's no secret. I mean, I haven't been playing well personally from my standard. I have a couple good drives, a couple good plays here, but it's just up and down right now. So I got to just, for me, I feel like it starts with practice and then it comes to the game, staying focused. And I mean, I've been focused. I watch as much film as anybody, and it's just sometimes it doesn't go your way. And, I got to be harder on myself and, realize that, games can come down to me making plays, and, I didn't make enough and I gave up the ball twice today. So I got to just be better, and I know that. So, but it's no time. I'm not going to hold my head down. I'm going to, keep my chin up, chest high, and just, I know I'm still a great player, but I got to just, put better stuff on the field. Got to keep practicing and keep playing. I mean, you tell me. I don't know. That's all I know how to do is just practice better, play better, meet better, do everything better, and when it comes out like that, it's not fun, but, it's part of the game, and we'll use it one game out of the year that'll teach us a lesson. Sadly, we have to learn right now, or it'll teach us in future years. And for me, I'm just, going to use this as a time where I need to look myself in the mirror and get better.
All right, Texas quarterback C.J. Stroud, after that tough loss yesterday at NRG Stadium, we have our mega poll up right now that you can vote on. Sorry. How would you I can't even read. How worried are you? It's a small font there, guys. I need my reading glasses there. How worried are you about C.J. Stroud's year 2 struggles? We just talked about it. He's still having a good year. He is it's comparable to last season when he seemed to be flawless.
I feel like it's maybe two answers in how you want to take the question. How worried am I long-term, CJ? Yeah. Like, is he the guy? Is he the 0%? Absolutely, totally unconcerned and completely ready to say, as I have since he got here last year, he's the guy. They have a franchise quarterback. They basically have one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the AFC. But short-term this year in 2024, I can't ignore what's happening. Yeah. And this game probably accentuated more than others his individual mistakes. While he was protected well enough, had plenty of clean pockets. Wasn't a great day from start to finish, but plenty of clean pockets to make the right decisions, not have happy feet, not see ghosts, not expect guys to be coming in there where you didn't expect. Didn't like some of their play calling that called for rushers unblocked, and he's supposed to hit his hot receiver. He had a couple of plays where, I mean, it's
kind of hard to do that.
He's right in his face. You've given him this avenue. So I am concerned this year because at some point he probably had 3 or 4 games last year that are better than any game he's played this entire season. There's only 5 games left.
Right, exactly. Hey, real quick, by the way, that poll is up. You can go to click2vote.com. click2vote.com and let us know how you're feeling about it. Again, follow up on the struggles.
You know what? I think it's
how alarming on the panic button right now. Where would you be?
I'm not hitting the panic button, but I think CJ mentioned it in after the game presser that football, in my opinion, it's a practice sport, right? You got to go out and do it in practice, and that carries over to the game. So I'm not out there at practice. We don't see what's going on at practice, how accurate it is there. But if you take that stuff seriously, you're making great plays in practice, it's going to carry over to the games.
All right, good stuff there. We're halfway home, a little more than halfway home here on Inside the Texans. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more reaction from the Texans players. Also, we'll start talking about what's ahead on Sunday, how important this game is in Jacksonville to take down the Jags before a bye week. We're coming right back here in a couple minutes. All right, we're back live here on Inside the Texans, and we do it every Monday, 11 to 11:30 here on KPRC 2+. Great to have you with us. Randy McAvoy, Owen Daniels, and Adam Wexler here. Almost called you Clanton, your partner on the A-Team.
That never happens.
Adam Wexler from the A-Team, Sports Talk 790. All right, we heard from D'Amico Ryans, heard from C.J. Stroud. Let's talk about the defense now, guys, and what we saw yesterday. Again, coming out of this, 8 sacks on Will Levis. You still lose this football game. We're going to run some video now. You're going to see some of the pressure. He had some of these explosive plays, Wex, you were talking about earlier.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The guy who used to wear 99 before he got here, Daniil Hunter, and didn't take 99 from the guy who's not going to let anybody wear it again, nor should he was unbelievable. That was a J.J. Watt-like performance. 3 sacks, a bunch of TFLs, a bunch of quarterback hits. Those are the playmaking that you have to have. He's now second in the NFL in sacks. He's got 15 TFLs, talking about Daniil Hunter. And then, unfortunately, we were just talking about this play. That's on Sting, so to speak. But what's the rest of the defense supposed to be doing there?
Maybe rally to the ball. I mean, first of all, to have a guy that's open by 15 yards, no one around him, that's a problem. And then just having awareness for what's going on and hustling to make a play. I mean, you gotta be aware of that guy's speed and what he can do with the ball after the catch.
How concerning is it right now with you getting some of the pressure, you're getting the sacks built up, but the secondary's kind of been hit and miss during the course of the season so far?
Yeah, especially what sticks out to me is that first touchdown they had. It's a play we have in the playbook is we call it the hammer takeoff, and that's all scouting right there. They see, hey, that safety is aggressive. He's going to drive on this route, that in-breaking route, and once he takes 2 steps forward, and we take 1 step to the end, and you're gone on it. So that's all scouting right there.
Westbrook Akine was on the receiving end of the 98-yard touchdown pass a week ago, a similar play.
Right.
And here, he was open almost from the jump. The other touchdown, the 70-yard touchdown, I mean, I don't know how much more as an offensive player, which wasn't very fun yesterday watching it from your standpoint as a tight end. That's an 8-yard pass that a tight end's able to take the next 62 yards, essentially untouched until he's inside the 5-yard line. Why did that play work against the Texans defense?
You know what? There has to be some miscommunication there, right? Obviously, play action on that. You can try to get guys free, but you don't expect a guy to get that open on those type of plays.
All right, let's listen in. Post-game coming in, I believe all from the locker room, some of the defensive guys talking about their day in the loss to the Tennessee Titans. Take a look.
Our offense gave us enough points to win the game. So that starts with the defense. We didn't do enough to stop them. We didn't stop the run, and we didn't run the ball well. And we gave up way too many points on defense. So our offense did plenty. They gave us enough points, In defense, we have to be able to stop them.
I mean, when you want something as bad as we want it, of course you're going to be frustrated. Of course you're going to feel a little down. But, like, you got another game coming up. We can't mope on this one. We got 24 hours, man. It's on to the next. And we got another divisional opponent. And how we're going to respond to that opponent.
I feel like we just got to lock in a little bit more. You know, we made a lot of mistakes. We weren't as locked in as we should have been. Biggest thing is just learning from this and just moving on to the next game.
The comments there from D'Amico Ryans, and inside the locker room, you could see on their face how disappointed they were they let this one get away. By the way, our last megaphone poll right there, how can the Texans improve the most? Defense, offense, special teams, coaching. Again, go to click2vote.com. You can start casting your vote right now. Those are the categories. Does one of these stand out, or all of the above, or what?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to see the defense be more consistent just as a whole. Obviously making great plays, but giving up big plays. I would love to see the offense capitalize in the red zone more. You know, we get down there a bunch. You can't be kicking field goals in this league if you want to win.
Yeah, none of the three areas are operating with consistency. The special teams had too many penalties, but they still got a turnover, missed the kick. The defense had 8 sacks, couldn't stop Pollard, gave up the explosives. The offense put up 27 points, which is a lot more than they normally score, but should have had 34 because you took a touchdown off the board. You had 7 more penalties, not all on them, on the offense. Each area, each of the three, they're individually inconsistent, and that's the main reason they're not playing complementary football.
All right, we got a couple of minutes before we wrap it up. It's on to Jacksonville. You've played in that stadium many times. You know what this rivalry is all about. And again, it's another situation. We knew what the Titans were coming in. They were, 2-8, 3-8 coming in?
2-8 coming in, 3-8 heading out.
Yeah. And now Jacksonville struggles as well, but you almost have to throw that out as you go to Jacksonville, play these guys.
Cliche as it is, you got to throw the records out the window. Hey, it doesn't matter. Like, these are all NFL players. You're going on the road, divisional opponent, and this isn't necessarily a game that's going to get you right for the whole season, but it's going to get you feeling good with some momentum, some confidence going into the bye week.
And you saw Jacksonville earlier this year. What happened that day at NRG Stadium? You had to win late because you struggled to put teams away. You struggled to consistently put points on the board. Heck, in the second half, these issues have not been solved. The last 6 weeks for the Texans, their defense has 2 touchdowns. Their offense has 1. That at some point has to change, and there's a lot of people at fault for those things, but you do have the opportunity to win this division. That's all still in front of you. You take care of this one.
Vision looks great right now.
Yeah, we don't normally talk about magic numbers with football, but any combination of 3 Texans wins and 2 or losses by the Colts, and the Colts lost on Sunday, and the Texans are going to win this division.
One last question. We have 45 seconds or less. After the bye week, it's a tough stretch. You got Miami, you've got Kansas City on the road, you got Baltimore. Are they thinking about that yet, or you think they're just locked in here?
Hopefully they're just locked in. You know, hopefully they're locked in, then they can get away a little bit and reset their minds, reset their bodies. You know, coming back for those 3 tough weeks is going to be good for this team. It's going to be good to play against that type of competition because they're going to see those teams potentially in the playoffs.
Great to have you guys in, man. Thanks for hanging out on Inside the Texans. Good to have you in, man.
Yeah,
Dan, you know him well. You follow the Texans. What a career he had here. Adam Wexler, A-Team on Sports Talk 790. Guys, appreciate it. We'll do it again. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll do it again next Monday.